What if today is the last day you ever feel this stuck? Think about that. What if this is the moment everything begins to change? Not because the world suddenly makes it easier, but because you finally choose to stop waiting for the perfect time and decide that now is enough. You've been carrying this weight for too long. The frustration of starting over, the guilt of not following through, the quiet ache that comes from knowing you're capable of so much more, but watching yourself shrink back day after day behind the same tired excuses. It hurts. And not just because you're falling short, but because deep down, you know you're meant for more than this. You know how it feels to want something so badly it keeps you awake at night, yet still struggle to move when the alarm goes off in the morning. You've played this game, one more day, one more excuse, one more I'll start tomorrow. But here's the truth, there's no more power in tomorrow. Tomorrow has lied to you more times than you can count. The real power is right here, in this very second, in the decision you make now. The decision to stop watching other people live the life you want. The decision to stop talking yourself out of your own potential. The decision to get up mentally, physically, emotionally, and start building the life you can't stop dreaming about. You don't need permission. You don't need motivation. What you need is action. Raw, imperfect, unapologetic action. Because action builds momentum, and momentum creates belief. You think belief comes first, but it doesn't. Belief grows when you do the thing anyway, when you take one step even though you're scared, when you get up even though you're tired, when you keep going even when no one's watching. That's where real confidence is born. Not in hype, not in luck, in consistency, in effort, in the quiet grind. This isn't just about goals, it's about reclaiming yourself. It's about remembering who you are, beneath all the doubt, beneath all the noise. You've got a fire in you, but it's been buried under fear. Today, that ends. Because this is the year you finally step into your life. This is the year you stop sitting on the sidelines waiting for a sign. This is the sign. And if you stay with me through this, if you listen not just with your ears, but with your heart, I promise you something will shift. Not outside, but inside. And once that switch flips, nothing will be able to stop you. This is your year. Not because I said so, but because you're finally ready to say it to yourself. Get up, get focused, get it done. The rest of your life is waiting. Every breakthrough starts the same way, with a decision so quiet the world doesn't notice, but so powerful it changes everything. It's the moment you stop outsourcing your power, the moment you stop blaming circumstances, stop pointing fingers, and finally say, this is on me. That shift, that internal fire, it changes the way you breathe. It changes how you walk into a room. Because now, you're not hoping for change, you're creating it. You've waited long enough. Waited for motivation, waited for clarity, waited for life to hand you what only you were meant to build. But now, there's no more waiting. Because this version of you doesn't wait. This version leads. You don't need a bigger plan. You need a deeper reason. Because when your why is real enough, nothing can stop your how. The people who win aren't the ones with the perfect strategy. They're the ones who refuse to quit. The ones who show up when it's boring, when it's lonely, when it's hard. And right now, that's you. Right now, you are planting something powerful. It doesn't look like much yet, but it's happening. With every rep, every choice, every time you show up, even if it's messy, even if it's slow, because consistency beats intensity every single time. Show up today, then again tomorrow, stack those days. That's how you change a life. You're not trying to prove anything to anyone else anymore. That part of you is done. This isn't about validation. This is about alignment. You're not chasing attention. You're chasing integrity. The kind that happens when your actions finally match your ambition, when your daily habits finally reflect the life you say you want. Because talk means nothing without action. And you're done talking. You're done dreaming without doing. You're done setting goals just to feel good for a moment. Now, it's about keeping promises to yourself. That's how self-respect is built, not with words, but with follow-through. And yes, you will be tired. You will want to quit. Your mind will scream for comfort, but you are not your feelings. You are your choices. And every time you choose growth over comfort, you win. Not always visibly, not always immediately, but internally something shifts. You become more solid, more focused, more unshakable. Discipline isn't a punishment, it's a declaration that you are done playing small, done living below your potential, done acting like time owes you something. It doesn't, but you owe yourself everything. So get back in the fight, not with force, but with focus. Not with pressure, but with purpose. You're not here to survive the year. You're here to own it. Let that be your new standard, not perfection, but progress, not hype, but hunger. Hunger to become the kind of person who keeps going, who shows up, who finishes. Because the person who finishes is the one who decides every single day to never stop starting. This is who you are now. Act like it. There is a version of you that already exists beyond the fear, beyond the hesitation, beyond the noise. That version doesn't need convincing. It doesn't overthink. It doesn't ask for permission. It knows what it wants and moves toward it with quiet intensity. That version is not a fantasy. It's not some future you waiting years down the line. It's already inside you, buried under habits that no longer serve you, hidden beneath excuses you've outgrown. The job now is to let that version rise. Let it take over. Let it lead. Every time you take the harder path, every time you do what needs to be done, instead of what feels easy, that version gets louder, stronger, realer. That version is built in moments just like this, when your comfort screams for attention, but your calling whispers louder. This isn't about suddenly becoming perfect. It's about finally becoming honest. Honest about what you want. Honest about what's holding you back. Honest enough to stop hiding behind potential and start showing up with purpose. You've told yourself too many stories about why now isn't the right time, why you're not ready, why you'll start when life settles down. But life won't wait, and neither will your future. You don't get growth without discomfort. You don't get transformation without tension. And the longer you avoid the friction, the longer you stay stuck. But when you lean in, when you walk into the resistance instead of away from it, everything begins to shift. Because power is never found in ease. It's found in effort. You're capable of so much more than surviving your days. You were built to create, to stretch, to rise. You were made for depth, for discipline, for doing the work no one sees until the results speak for themselves. Stop chasing fast. Stop needing it to feel good. Start doing what matters. Because meaning isn't handed to you. It's earned. Earned through consistency. Earned through staying the course when most people give up. Earned through becoming the kind of person who shows up because it's hard, not in spite of it. And the moment you stop craving comfort and start craving growth, you become unstoppable. Your thoughts do not define you unless you believe them. Fear is not fact, doubt is not destiny. Whatever has held you back no longer gets a say. It's time to take the power back. Time to reclaim your time, your choices, your standards. You don't need to wait for life to change. You change and life responds. Let discipline become your new language. Let self-respect become your fuel. Let daily execution become your strategy. No more negotiating with your lesser self. No more letting the old you run the show. You are the author now. And every action you take writes the next chapter. So write like it matters. Live like it counts. Because it does. And the clock is still ticking. You weren't put here to drift. You weren't made to go through life half awake, numbing your fire with distractions, drowning your purpose in temporary comfort. Deep inside, you know this, that ache in your chest, that restlessness that keeps returning. It's not weakness. It's not failure. It's your calling trying to break through the noise. It's your potential demanding attention. You've played small for too long, shrinking to fit into spaces that don't honor your vision, dimming your light to make others comfortable, pretending you're okay with good enough when everything inside you is screaming for more. But you are not here for good enough. You are here to rise, to stretch, to build something undeniable. The life you want won't be handed to you. It must be forged through repetition, through resilience, through an unshakable decision to keep showing up when no one claps, when nothing feels exciting, when everything in you wants to quit. That's when the future is built. Not in the moments of hype, but in the quiet grind, the unseen hours where average people walk away and uncommon people lock in. You don't need the world to understand your fire. You just need to protect it, feed it, and let it fuel the action that takes you from dreamer to doer. You cannot control what happens around you, but you can always control what happens within you. You can choose your focus. You can choose your standards. You can choose to stop reacting and start leading. The difference between the person who makes it and the person who stays stuck isn't luck, it's ownership. One owns their time, their choices, their growth. The other waits. Waits for the mood, waits for motivation, waits for someone else to lead the way. You've done enough waiting. Now it's time to take command. Your habits are your future in disguise. Every small action either builds or breaks you. And the truth is, most people won't change because comfort is addictive, because effort is uncomfortable. But not you. You are here for more than survival. You're here for mastery. And mastery starts when you stop asking, how do I feel? And start asking what needs to be done. That shift changes everything. It changes your results. It changes your identity. And once your identity changes, your outcomes follow. This is the real work. Not flashy, not fast, but lasting. You don't need more time. You need more truth. Look in the mirror and get honest. Are your actions aligned with your goals, or are you just wishing for results you're not working for? Because wishing is easy, work is rare. But you weren't made to be average. You were made to build. So build something that matters. Build something that outlasts fear, outlasts failure, outlasts doubt, and it starts right now. Not tomorrow, not when you feel ready. Right now. The clock hasn't stopped, and neither should you. You already know what needs to be done. It's not a lack of knowledge that's holding you back. It's the resistance that rises every time you try to act. That resistance is the gatekeeper between who you are and who you're meant to become. It doesn't care about your talent, your dreams, or your potential. It only responds to action. Relentless, focused, consistent action. That's how you earn your future. Not through luck, not through waiting, but through getting up again and again and doing what most won't. That's how you separate yourself. That's how you shift from living by default to living by design. Every moment you hesitate is a moment lost, and those moments don't come back. Life is not rewound. The clock keeps moving whether you do or not. But if you decide to move, if you decide to go all in, to take control of the minutes, the hours, the days, you take control of your direction. And that direction becomes your destiny. This is where most give up. This is where most get tired. But this is also where the few rise. The few who decide they will not be defined by what they feel in the moment, but by what they do in the moments that count. You don't need to have it all figured out. You just need to take the next step, and then the next. Progress isn't loud, it's not always exciting, but it is powerful. It's the invisible compound effect that makes the impossible inevitable. You train, you build, you persist, and one day the results catch up to the discipline. One day the person you've been becoming shows up and takes over. That's not luck, that's the cost of commitment paid in full. The world doesn't give you what you want. It gives you what you insist on through your actions, through your focus, through your refusal to break. So stop negotiating with procrastination. Stop making deals with weakness. You are not here to be another version of average. You are here to lead yourself. You are here to wake up every day and demand more, not from the world, but from yourself. That's where freedom begins, not in ease, but in earned power. And you earn that power through repetition, through sacrifice, through hunger. You're not too late. You're not too far behind. You are right on time. If you move now, if you stop looking back, if you stop waiting for the perfect plan, the path is built through action. Every decision you make either feeds the future or feeds the fear. Choose wisely. Choose the discomfort that builds you, not the comfort that breaks you. Choose the pain of growth over the pain of regret, because one will change your life. The other will steal it. You've been given another day. Use it like it matters, because it does. There is a cost to every choice you make, a cost for comfort, a cost for hesitation, a cost for every time you said later instead of now. And the truth is, the longer you delay, the heavier the cost becomes. But there's also a reward for stepping forward when it's hard, a reward for showing up when it doesn't feel good, a reward for keeping your word to yourself, especially when no one's watching. That reward is freedom, not the kind handed to you by circumstances, but the kind you earn by rising above them. That kind of freedom only comes through discipline. And discipline is love in action. It's proof that you care enough about your future to protect it from your comfort. You don't need more potential. You need more pressure applied in the right direction. Pressure creates clarity. Pressure reveals character. And pressure builds power. Stop trying to escape it. Use it. Let it mold you. Let it strip away the excuses, the distractions, the stories that have kept you small. You are not here to shrink. You are here to evolve. You are here to take everything you've been through and turn it into fuel. No more waiting for the right mood. No more relying on short bursts of motivation. It's time to hardwire discipline into your identity. Not something you do, something you are. The pain of discipline is temporary. The pain of regret is permanent. Every time you delay what matters, you deposit regret into your future, and it accumulates quietly, slowly, until one day it becomes louder than your dreams. But you can stop that. You can interrupt the pattern. You can make the decision right now to change the trajectory, one action at a time, one moment of courage at a time. You don't need to move mountains today, you just need to move one step, one rep, one task. Stack those wins, build the momentum, because once momentum is on your side, everything begins to shift. There is a deeper level of you that only shows up when you're pushed to your edge. You haven't even seen what you're fully capable of yet. Not because it's not there, but because it's been waiting for commitment, for consistency, for you to stop dipping your toes in the water and finally go all in. That version of you doesn't flinch, doesn't fold, it finishes. Not because it's easy, but because it's necessary. That's the version you train for. That's the version you access through repetition, through grit, through choosing the harder path with intention. You don't rise by chance, you rise by choice. And that choice happens every day. Every morning you wake up, every time you feel resistance, every second you decide who you're becoming. The clock won't slow down, life won't pause. But you can catch up, you can take control, you can get up and get it done, starting now, because the only way out is through. And you're ready. You don't need to feel ready. You need to be willing to act without certainty, willing to step forward without applause, willing to become the person who follows through, not just the one who dreams. The gap between where you are and where you want to be isn't filled with motivation, it's filled with movement. Small steps repeated with purpose, stacked with consistency. That's how you change. That's how you build something unshakable. There is no magic moment, no perfect timing. There is only now. And what you do with it determines everything that follows. The future isn't something you wait for, it's something you create. Through work, through focus, through the daily decision to keep showing up. Most people will never change because they're addicted to comfort disguised as control. They don't want transformation. They want reassurance that change won't require discomfort. But you know better. You understand that growth demands pain. Not suffering for its own sake, but sacrifice with purpose. The sacrifice of excuses. The sacrifice of shortcuts. The sacrifice of being liked for the power of being real. Real with yourself. Real with your goals. Real with the effort it takes to bring them to life. You don't rise by doing what's easy. You rise by doing what's right, especially when it's hard. Discipline is the gateway to freedom. Most avoid it, not realizing it's the only way to live life on their own terms. When you can control your habits, your time, your mind, you own your life. And that control isn't built in comfort. It's forged in the fire of hard choices. Every time you push through resistance, you build more than muscle. You build resilience, you build identity, you prove to yourself that you're not a prisoner of your feelings, you're the architect of your future. And architects don't wait for inspiration, they build regardless. You are not the sum of your thoughts. You are the sum of your patterns. If you want different results, you must create different rituals. Replace waiting with doing, replace doubt with discipline, replace fear with focus. That shift rewires everything. And once the wiring changes, your life follows. Because your mind listens. It watches your actions and takes notes. Every time you follow through, even when it's hard, your mind adapts. It learns that you can be trusted. And self-trust is the foundation of self-mastery. You are far stronger than your distractions. You are far greater than your excuses. Every limitation you've accepted is a story you can rewrite. And that rewrite begins with a choice. Not tomorrow, not next month, now, right now. Get up, move forward, take the step, make the call, finish the task. Because the only thing standing between you and the life you want is the work you're avoiding. And the moment you decide to stop avoiding and start executing, the game changes. You change. And once you change, everything else follows. Relentless, focused, unstoppable. That's who you are now. If you want to feel powerful, do powerful things. Act in alignment with who you want to become, not how you feel in the moments. Stop waiting for motivation to carry you. It won't. Stop hoping for inspiration to find you. It doesn't. Power is created through action, through showing up on the days you feel invisible, through pushing when it would be easier to pause, through choosing effort over comfort again and again, until the version of you that once hesitated is gone. Every time you act with intention, you carve a new path. A path that leads away from the chaos of distraction and directly into clarity, purpose, and growth. Success doesn't respond to wishes. It responds to work. It doesn't care how many times you tried and failed. It only responds when you try again, sharper, stronger, and more focused. Discipline is not about punishment. It's about freedom. It's about building a life that reflects your vision, not your impulses. The people who get what they want are not the ones who always feel like showing up. They're the ones who do it anyway. They feel the same resistance you do, but they walk through it. They don't ask if they're ready. They decide they are. Because readiness is not a feeling. It's a decision backed by courage. Your environment will always try to pull you back into comfort, back into habits that kept you stagnant, back into distractions that numb instead of heal. But you weren't made to blend in. You weren't built to remain where you've always been. The moment you begin to stretch, to rise, to demand more of yourself, everything around you will challenge that shift. Not because you're wrong, but because you're growing. And growth threatens what's familiar. That's why so many quit. Not because they can't, but because they're afraid of who they'll become. Don't be one of them. Hold the line, anchor yourself in your why, and move. When you don't feel like showing up, show up harder. When your mind tells you to stop, move faster. When excuses start whispering, answer with action. You do not need to be perfect. You need to be consistent. You need to be unshakable in your commitment, even when the results aren't visible yet. Because results don't show up immediately, but the impact of your discipline begins on day one. You either build your dream or build regret. You either choose growth or settle for decline. There is no neutral. There is no standing still. Time is moving, life is moving. The only question is whether you're moving with it or falling behind. You've made it this far for a reason. There is fire in you. There is something unbreakable inside you that refuses to give up. Don't silence it. Feed it. Let it lead. Because you were not made to stay the same. You were made to rise. And the time is not someday. It's now. Right now. Start again. Go harder. Get it done. The standard you accept is the life you create. If you allow distractions to rule your day, they will. If you tolerate excuses, they'll multiply. If you give energy to doubt, it will consume everything. But when you raise your standards, everything around you starts to shift. Not because the world changes, but because you refuse to stay where you were. Discipline becomes your default. Focus becomes your shield. And excellence becomes your baseline. The world will always try to pull you into average. It will offer shortcuts, comfort, and escape. But none of that leads to fulfillment. None of that leads to strength. You are not here to blend in. You are here to break through. Every moment is a mirror. It reflects the habits you've built, the choices you've repeated, and the priorities you've lived by. If you're not proud of that reflection, don't look away, change it. Not by thinking about change, but by acting differently now. If you want a stronger mind, challenge your thoughts. If you want a stronger body, move through resistance. If you want a stronger life, stop running from the work. There is no way around effort. You either lean into it or fall behind. There is no neutral ground. The mind adapts to whatever you feed it. Feed it power, feed it precision, feed it the daily reminder that nothing is more important than becoming the person you said you would be. You don't rise by motivation. You rise by systems. Habits built on commitment, not emotion. Discipline anchored in values, not moods. The days you feel nothing are the most important days to act. Those are the days that shape your identity. Those are the moments where greatness is built, not seen. Because it's never about how you feel in the moment. It's about who you want to be when this year ends. That future version of you is counting on your actions now, not later, not someday, right now. Most won't do it. They'll say it's too much, too early, too hard. But that's where your edge is. That's where you separate yourself, not in the spotlight, but in the shadows. Not when it's exciting, but when it's silent. That's where real strength lives, in the quiet follow-through, in the consistent execution, in the refusal to compromise just because no one's watching. You are building something greater than success. You're building unshakable confidence, earned through effort, cemented through action. The voice that tells you to slow down is lying. The discomfort is temporary, but the reward is permanent. You weren't made to drift. You weren't built for average. You're here to lead yourself, to show what's possible when someone refuses to quit. Every second you wait is a second lost. Every excuse is a brick in the wall between you and your potential. Tear it down, get up, lock in, execute, because the standard is set by you. And today, you raise it. You are stronger than your fears, bigger than your doubts, and more capable than you realize. Every time you hesitate, you give power to the very things that want to keep you stuck. But strength is not the absence of fear. It is the choice to move forward despite it. Fear is a signal, not a stop sign. It means you're stepping into growth, pushing past your comfort, and reaching for something bigger than before. You don't need to wait for courage to appear. You create it through action. Each step taken in spite of fear builds a foundation that no challenge can shake. That foundation becomes your unbreakable core. It transforms hesitation into momentum and doubt into determination. You don't get what you want by wishing. You get it by working. You get it by committing to the grind even when no one is watching. You get it by refusing to let temporary discomfort dictate your long-term results. Your mind is a battlefield. The voices that tell you to stop, to quit, to settle, they are not your truth. They are the enemy disguised as self-doubt. Recognize them for what they are. Silence them with persistence. Overwhelm them with your refusal to give in. When you do, your mind rewires itself. It starts to trust you. It begins to believe in your ability to conquer the impossible. And that belief is more powerful than any obstacle you will face. You cannot afford to waste time waiting for the right moment. The right moment is a myth designed to keep you safe, comfortable, and small. Real progress demands urgency. It demands urgency because time is the most precious currency you have. Every second spent delaying is a second lost forever. When you decide to act now, you reclaim control over your life. You break free from the paralysis of indecision. You declare that your future is worth more than your present hesitation. This decision ignites a chain reaction. It changes your focus. It sharpens your resolve. It aligns your energy toward what truly matters. The person you want to become is forged in the fire of your choices today. Your habits, your mindset, your actions, they are the tools shaping that future self. If you want a life defined by achievement, discipline must become your closest ally. It's the daily refusal to settle for less. It's the invisible work no one sees, but that creates visible results. When discipline is your foundation, excuses fall away. Procrastination loses its grip. You become unstoppable because you're no longer ruled by momentary feelings. You're ruled by vision and purpose. Remember, the journey is not about perfection, it's about progress. It's about showing up every day and putting in the work even when it's hard. That work compounds. It builds strength, clarity, and confidence. It turns dreams into plans and plans into reality. The power to change your life lies within your hands right now. You don't need permission. You don't need validation. You only need to decide to get up, move forward, and get it done. No matter what, no matter how you feel, because this is your time. This is your year. This is your life to claim. The only way forward is through relentless action. Waiting for perfect conditions will keep you stuck forever. There will always be reasons to delay, doubts to paralyze, and fears to freeze your momentum. But those reasons are illusions, distractions from your true potential. Real growth demands urgency and persistence. It demands that you show up every day even when you don't feel like it. Because feelings are temporary, results are permanent. When you make action non-negotiable, you build an unshakable force inside yourself that cannot be stopped by obstacles, setbacks, or criticism. Your mind is wired to seek comfort and avoid pain. That wiring is survival-based, not success-based. To break free from the limitations of your comfort zone, you must become intentional with your choices. Choose discomfort. Choose challenge. Choose progress over ease. The more you train your brain to embrace effort, the more resilient it becomes. That resilience is the foundation of everything you want. It turns pressure into power and resistance into growth. Every difficult moment you lean into rewires your nervous system, proving to yourself that you can handle more than you imagined. Focus is your most powerful weapon. In a world full of noise and distraction, the ability to zero in on what matters separates winners from everyone else. You don't need more time, you need better focus. Protect your time like it's the most valuable asset because it is. Cut out what doesn't serve your purpose. Say no to distractions that pull you off course. When you guard your focus fiercely, you create space for clarity and momentum. Clarity turns overwhelming tasks into manageable steps. Momentum carries you through the hard days when motivation is absent. Together, they become unstoppable. Your future is the sum of your daily habits. It doesn't matter how grand your goals are if your habits don't match them. The small choices you make each day, how you spend your time, what you prioritize, how you respond to setbacks, are the building blocks of your destiny. Consistency is the secret weapon of high achievers. It's not about perfection, it's about showing up again and again, refusing to quit. When you commit to consistent action, your confidence grows, your skills sharpen, your vision becomes reality, the process becomes your identity. Fear of failure is natural, but it cannot control you. Failure is simply feedback, a necessary step on the path to mastery. Each setback is a lesson disguised as struggle. When you stop fearing failure and start embracing it as part of growth, you free yourself to take bold action. Courage is not the absence of fear, it is action despite fear. The brave do not wait for fear to disappear, they move forward in its presence. That movement builds strength, shapes character, and ultimately creates the life you desire. Now is the moment to claim your power, not tomorrow, not when conditions improve. Right now, your decisions today set the trajectory of your life. When you decide to act, to focus, to push through fear, you create unstoppable momentum. That momentum carries you forward, transforms your mindset, and builds a future beyond what you thought possible. This is your time to rise, to conquer, to get up and get it done. Because your best life is waiting, and it starts with the actions you take this very second. Your mindset is the battlefield where success is won or lost. Every thought you allow to take root either builds you up or tears you down. Negative thoughts are like weeds. If left unchecked, they spread, choking out confidence, hope, and ambition. But you have the power to control your inner dialogue. You can choose which thoughts deserve space and which ones must be uprooted. This is not about blind positivity. It's about clear, deliberate focus on what serves your growth. The voice that says you can't is a liar. The voice that whispers you are enough is truth. Nourish that truth. Make it louder than your doubts. Feed it with evidence from your daily victories, no matter how small. This mindset shift is your weapon. It shapes how you interpret challenges, how you respond to setbacks, and ultimately, how far you'll go. You are not your failures, nor your past mistakes. They are events that happened, but they do not define your identity unless you let them. Letting go of what weighs you down frees up energy for what lifts you higher. To move forward, you must shed the chains of regret and guilt. They do not serve your purpose. Instead, embrace accountability without self-judgment. Own your actions, learn from them, and then release the hold they have on you. This process clears your mind, strengthens your resolve, and creates space for new possibilities. When you stop identifying with your setbacks, you begin to see them as stepping stones, essential parts of the climb rather than dead ends. Consistency is the silent engine driving transformation. It is the daily choice to do what needs to be done, even when you don't feel like it. This is where dreams meet reality. Talent and luck can only take you so far, but relentless consistency builds unbreakable momentum. It rewires your brain to expect success, to handle discomfort, and to embrace effort. This momentum carries you through doubts, fear, and fatigue. When you build habits around your goals, you automate success. You don't rely on fleeting motivation. Instead, you tap into a deep well of discipline that never runs dry. This consistency is your commitment to your future self, a promise that you will not quit until you get it done. Pressure reveals character. When the weight of expectation bears down, your true strength emerges. The moments when everything feels hard, when the path is unclear and the outcome uncertain, these are the moments that define you. They force you to reach deeper, to find reserves of courage you didn't know existed. Embrace the pressure. Let it sharpen your focus and fuel your determination. Know that growth always requires discomfort. The discomfort you feel is the sound of your limits breaking. It's the signal that you are expanding beyond who you were yesterday. Lean into it. Use it as a tool, not an excuse. Your potential is not fixed. It is fluid, expandable, and waiting for your action to awaken it. Every decision to stand up, to keep going, to push harder, rewrites the story of who you are. You are not bound by yesterday's doubts or today's fears. You are sculpting the future with every deliberate move. This power belongs to you and you alone. Claim it now. Let your actions speak louder than your thoughts. Get up and get it done. Your transformation begins here. You hold within you the power to change everything. Not someday, not eventually, but right now. The strength you seek is not hidden in distant places or future moments. It lives inside you today, waiting to be awakened by your commitment. Every hesitation, every excuse, every moment spent doubting yourself steals from the potential that is uniquely yours. But the choice to reclaim that power is yours as well. It begins the instant you decide that enough is enough, that you will no longer accept less than you deserve, that you will no longer let fear or comfort dictate your path. This is your declaration, a refusal to stay stuck, a refusal to settle, a refusal to be anything less than extraordinary. Change demands sacrifice. It demands you give up old habits, limiting beliefs, and the easy way out. You must be willing to step into discomfort daily. Because comfort is the enemy of growth, and growth is the foundation of every breakthrough. When you embrace sacrifice as necessary fuel for your future, the hard days lose their power to discourage you. Instead, they become milestones, proof that you're progressing. You don't grow by avoiding pain, but by leaning into it and proving to yourself that you can endure and overcome. This mindset transforms struggle from a threat into a teacher and obstacles from barriers into opportunities. The difference between who you are now and who you want to be is your willingness to do what others won't. The quiet moments when no one is watching, when motivation wanes and energy dips, those are the moments that build champions. When you choose to act in spite of exhaustion, doubt, or distraction, you build a resilience that can't be shaken. You create a momentum so strong it pushes you forward even when the path gets steep. This isn't luck or talent, it's the product of relentless determination repeated daily. Your future self will thank you for the small victories you achieved today. Each one compounds, building a foundation too strong to collapse. Focus is your greatest ally. It demands that you ruthlessly protect your time and energy from everything that does not serve your purpose. Every distraction, every unnecessary worry, every wasted moment chips away at your potential. Guard your focus fiercely, because when you do, your actions become deliberate, your progress measurable, and your confidence unbreakable. Clarity emerges when your mind is free from clutter, and with clarity comes unstoppable momentum. This focus is not a luxury, it is a necessity. It turns ordinary effort into extraordinary results. You are capable of more than you know, but capability alone is not enough. Action turns capability into results. Dreaming is powerless without doing. Plans are empty unless executed. Talent is wasted if not honed through effort. The path to greatness is forged through consistent, purposeful action taken every single day. Do not wait for the perfect moment because it will never come. Create the moment by choosing to get up, choose to push harder, choose to show the world what you're made of. This is your time. This is your year. This is your life. Own it fiercely and get it done. Every moment you hesitate, the opportunity to change slips farther away. The truth is, progress does not wait for you to feel ready. It moves relentlessly forward, indifferent to your doubts and fears. If you want to rise, you must rise now. If you want to break free from limitations, you must break free today. Waiting for certainty is a trap disguised as safety. It is comfort's way of keeping you small. Courage is not the absence of fear, but the decision to act despite it. When you push through the discomfort, you send a message to your brain. You are stronger than your excuses, more determined than your fears. This message rewires your mind, building resilience and reinforcing the belief that nothing can stop you. Your vision is your compass. Without it, your actions drift aimlessly, lost in distraction and overwhelm. When your purpose is clear and your goals are vivid, every choice you make gains meaning. This clarity fuels your motivation when energy wanes. It anchors you when chaos threatens to pull you off course. Your vision must be so compelling that it pulls you forward even when the path is steep. It must be personal, deeply connected to who you are and who you want to become. When you live aligned with this vision, your actions become intentional, your focus sharp, and your momentum unstoppable. You are no longer a passive participant in your life. You are the architect of your future. Discipline is the bridge between dreams and reality. It is the daily commitment to do what needs to be done, no matter how you feel. Discipline means showing up even when motivation is absent. It means embracing routine and structure as allies in your journey. Without discipline, talent is wasted and potential remains unrealized. With discipline, you create habits that automate success. You train your mind and body to perform under pressure, to resist distractions, and to push through resistance. This is how you build an unbreakable foundation. Every act of discipline compounds, leading to growth that is both deep and lasting. Failure is not defeat, it is feedback. Every time you stumble, you gain valuable information about what doesn't work. When you shift your mindset to see failure as a teacher, you remove its power to paralyze. Instead, you harness it to propel you forward. Courage grows through experience, through trial and error, through perseverance despite setbacks. The most successful are not those who never fail, but those who refuse to quit. They use failure as fuel, learning, adapting, and coming back stronger. This resilience is the key to transformation. It unlocks doors that fear and doubt keep closed. Now is the moment to decide, to step into your power fully, to move beyond excuses, hesitation, and self-imposed limits. Your life is the sum of the actions you take, starting right now. Get up, stand tall. Take that first step with fierce determination, because the path to greatness is walked one deliberate action at a time. Claim your power, own your future. Get it done.